I have a fairly straightforward question. How many homeless people are there today in Canada?
Well, thank you very much for that question, and I am in a position to not be able to answer that question today. That is not something that is remunerated in Canada.
Okay. And do you know how many there were in 2015? Okay. How about homeless encampments? Do you know how many there are in Canada today?
The number of people in homeless encampments is not something that is counted in Canada.
And it wasn't in 2015, I presume, either?
No.
No. Okay. Minister Fraser was here the other day, and he actually said, when we asked him about the Housing Accelerator Fund, he said that it doesn't lead to the construction of specific homes. And he's also said recently that I think it's a generational moral failure that there are people sleeping without a roof over their head in a country as wealthy as Canada. And I think we can all agree on that. But what I found interesting was in your report, you said that there is no systematic data collection on who lives in encampments in Canada. Is that you stand by that statement? I presume.
Yes.
Is that correct? So I guess my question is, the minister professes to want to solve this problem, and his government has been in office for 8 years, but there is no empirical method or process in place to actually measure the problem. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, I would agree with that.
You would agree with that statement? Okay. And I also note that the Auditor General issued a report in 2022 on chronic homelessness. And I was looking at it. It said that it noted that Infrastructure Canada had spent close to $1.36 billion between 2019 and 2021 on initiatives to prevent and reduce homelessness, but found that the department did not know whether the rates of homelessness and chronic homelessness had increased or decreased since 2019. Were you aware of that report?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's consistent with your testimony today that there's really, even though the government has spent billions of dollars, $82 billion on the National Housing Strategy, $4 billion on the Housing Accelerator Plan, and a multitude of other programs, it's clear, I guess, when we see with our eyes that the problem has gotten more severe. We know that. I had the mayor of Guelph here, Mayor Guthrie, in committee last fall, and I asked him, how many homeless encampments were there in Guelph in 2015? And he said, none. I said, well, how many are there today? He said 20. So we see this going on all over the country, but when the government spends, it could be in excess of $100 billion on this problem, and there's no way of measuring whether or not their programs are successful, how are we to trust that these programs are even working?